What up, people? It's Nickopz here, and today I want to talk about Geras. Now, a couple of days ago, I did a poll talking about what do people want to see. Do they want to see first me talking about why I feel bad for Sub-Zero players or why Geras needs help? And honestly, I was surprised that Geras won the poll because Sub-Zero players are usually very loud and very blatant in the community. And the fact that Geras beat out Sub-Zero, a way less popular character, that's a big deal. That the fact that he beat him out in the poll. So here I am talking about Geras now because again, I am tired of this nerf complaining era that we are in. We need to be in the buff era. Everybody is doing nothing mainly now. Not everybody, but a lot of people are doing nothing but complaining still about nerfs. Enough of the nerf era. Enough. It's the buff era now. Hopefully. And all these characters that still need help we need to put it out there that they need help now before the new characters come out and overshadow them. And one of those characters is Geras. Now, something I want to say about Geras before I get into the video is there is a point in time where Geras was meta. And Geras even won an offline tournament before. That's when Kung Lao assist, when this was +2 and way more cracked than it is now. When this was +2, I feel like honestly that fixed all of Geras' problems. Every flaw that Geras had went away because of this. And now that Kung Lao assist has been normalized, still one of the best assists in the game, but the fact that they took away what Geras really needed from it, the +2, really killed this character in my opinion. And I know some people are not going to understand that, but what you need to realize is little nuances can mean so much for characters in games. Like, they really can. There could be one change right now that makes a top tier character low tier. One tiny change. That's how much nuance matters in fighting game. So, again, let's get to talking about Geras and what all of his problems are and why he needs help. Now, Geras is an interesting character. It's another character kind of like Takeda, where I feel like they completely made him worse in every possible way and from his last iteration. And Geras has a lot of bad things about him. The first thing, he's too slow. The character is just flat out a slowpoke. Everything he does is sluggish and weighty. It feels like you can't really move with him. Now, one thing they did buff is this mid, but it's still not enough because even like the first 2 hits, it's still very minus. Let me go ahead and turn on the frame data. Like, everything is just slow and sluggish, and when he's in your face, he always has to give up a turn. He has no way to press the advantage. A lot of things are minus. The frame data is bad. He has a high command grab, which makes no sense. That means, if you don't understand what that means, if you go ahead and record him to duck and don't block, your command grab will not hit. But if they block, it will hit. So if the command grab was mid, it would hit regardless whether they were blocking or not. And that's one of the changes that he really needs. I don't know why you would give a command grab character a high command grab that, again, puts you in a spot where he gets no guaranteed pressure. It's like everything he does is meant to push you away when he's a character that wants to be in your face. It makes absolutely no sense. It's so counterintuitive to his archetype. Like, his overhead splats you away, which is also not a good overhead. We'll get to that in a second. Overhead splats you away. Heck, I think even his projectile at a certain angle will push you back. Yeah. It's like everything pushes you away. The command grab sends you... Look at that. He's not getting a button off of that. And in MK11, this character was an Oki monster. If you don't know what Oki is, it's basically the spot you're left in after you do something. So one thing that has good Oki is his throw. See how close you're left after the throw? you have to be scared of a button. In MK11, he was the Oki monster. He can hit you with anything and get Oki almost anywhere, anytime. And they just removed that from his kit. He puts you at this weird, almost full screen off of anything he does now. And it's just so counterintuitive to a character that's supposed to be in your face. And again, the overhead. Why is the overhead, first of all, look how minus this overhead is. Why is the overhead minus 25? I guess they didn't learn their lesson with Reptile, but if you have a singular overhead splat move, overhead that just knocks you to the ground, it should not be punishable. There is no reason that this move should be punishable. This should be a safe overhead that he can always throw out that leaves him closer on block and you closer on hit. So I don't understand why they keep making characters with splat overheads that just are meant to knock you down, but making them unsafe. Like, imagine if they gave Raiden that. That'd be terrible for him. They had to buff Reptiles because he had a splat overhead, which was unsafe. And Geras is another one. Like, make this safe. Now, of course, I know some people are going to say, oh, it has pushback. It doesn't matter. Most cats can still punish this easily. Like, very easily. And, again, he's a character that you can keep out pretty easily. His tools for getting in are not that good. He has this scuffed projectile, which is like a 16 frame startup, and then it doesn't even come out when he moves his hand. Like, he moves his hand and then it comes out. So it's really like slower than the startup actually says. And he doesn't get a good thing off of it. Like, when he does it, sometimes it might push you forward, like at that range. But most of the time, at the ranges you're going to need to use it, which is full screen, it just knocks him up and he can't really get in off of it. So the fact that they made him easy to keep out wouldn't be a bad thing if he was a juggernaut once he gets in. But once he gets in, he has a high command grab, an unsafe overhead, a scuffed low that ain't really that good, and just, again, bad frame data when he's in your face. One of his tried and true moves in the last game was his forward 2. And in this game, it's a high that is -4. That's not that good off of a high. Whenever you have a forward advance and high string, it should barely be negative. So after you get in, it feels like it was worth it, the fact that you have to throw out a high. And then don't even start it if he completes the full string. Crap is -14. And in case you don't know, again, anything -7 or below or above, whatever you want to consider it. So anything -7, -8, -9, and continue, that's all unsafe. So a move needs to be -7, -6, -5 to be safe. And all of his moves are either barely safe or just unsafe. And he's just not a scary character at anywhere on the screen. The best ways to tell a good character is where they threaten you at and how scary they are on that certain part of the screen. So again, full screen, he's not scary at all. Right here, he's not scary at all. Once he's in your face, he's not scary at all, because everything he's gonna press is gonna knock you away and you get the chance to win neutral all over again. And you know, he has to win neutral all over again in your face. Like, what's the point of playing Geras? There's zero reason to play Geras. Like, the man was literally only popular for doing this to people. This is what he was known for. That's all Geras was known for, because he doesn't have anything else. There's absolutely no reason in this game you should be playing Geras at all. Now, let's talk about, matter of fact, let me make sure I covered everything. Too slow, bad frame data, high command grab, everything pushes you away. And again, his archetype was just changed way too much. He was the Oki monster. He knocked you down. You always had to guess throw, grab, something. You had to guess something. And he did not get zoned out in MK11 because he had Sand Trap, which they nerfed. But him at his best did not get zoned out. In this game, he gets zoned out. So let's start talking about the help he needs, because getting zoned out, again, it's not a bad thing after you get in, as long as you're a juggernaut. And usually no one, like I say with Johnny, nobody really gets zoned out in Mortal Kombat. But the caveat to that, because people like say, oh, Johnny doesn't have a projectile. Johnny has ways around projectiles. And Geras, he could put on something that can give him tools around to get around projectiles. But if he puts it on, he loses all of those things he needs when he touches you. Now, you will see a lot of people, if they're not using Farah right now, because, you know, Farah's in the middle, they'll use Matara. Because Matara has the teleport to get him around, and he has the multi-hidden thing to get him in, and when he finally is in your face, he can at least be plus, even though it's all not real. That's why a lot of people use Matara on him. But again, there is no assist that completely fixes Geras. There's no assist that just fixes the character. So he can put on something to stop him from getting zoned out, but that's going to make it to where his up-close tools are going to suffer. There's no assist that completely completes him. And now we get to the point where we talk about what can they buff on Geras. And I think it's a lot. First things first, make this freaking command grab a mid. There is no reason that this command grab should be a high. I don't know. It's like when NRS makes a grappler, they always do too much or too little. It's so weird. Like, they don't know how to make grapplers. Like, this command grab should have, keep its ticks. You know, it can tick off the mid. It can tick off this right here. It can tick off the poke. And I think it can tick off the sweep as well. He should keep all of these, and it should be a mid. And it should leave you closer. When you get hit by the command grab, you should be scared. Not, oh, I'm going to be able to get away. Like, no, it should leave you closer to where you have to guess a button. Why does it put you right there? Why does it put you all the way over here? It just doesn't make sense. So, next thing, make the overhead a splat. I mean, not a splat. Make the overhead safe. The overhead should be safe and leave you closer. And I feel like it should have another hit effect to where he can get combos off of it with some assists. It should be like just a different knockdown. You see how it leaves him up for just a bit before it knocks him down? I feel like it should have a different hit animation. That way you can get some combos off of it with certain assists. It shouldn't just splat you down. If they're going to leave it, like if they're going to push you back this far, it shouldn't be like that. But the first change, the main change, I would say, just make it safe, and it leaves them closer and you closer. So when they get hit, it should put them, like, I would say it should end like right here. That's where you should be after you get hit. And after, if you block it right, it should leave you closer. That way you can pressure him, but he's still unsafe. So that would be a good change. Now, one of the biggest changes I feel like Geras needs is he needs the threatening mid back. This ain't scary. Like, nobody's scared of a heavy looking 7-frame mid. Not 7-frame mid. Ooh, if it was a 7-frame mid. A -7 mid that just isn't scary. It's forward advancing, yeah, but I mean, the first hit stagger's not good. It's -4. And this is -7. His frame data is so atrocious. Like, why make a character that has to work to get in so heavy? When he gets in, why is the frame data so bad? It makes no sense. Everything is barely safe. Everything, almost. It's just ridiculous. So, I feel like they should swap his mids around. His mid-high around. I feel like this should be a high, and this should be a mid. If this was a mid, oh my god. This would be a crazy mid. They need to give him his 4-2 being a mid back. Like at the beginning of MK11. Give it back. Like they nerfed it in that game too. Give him his good, like well-known tool back. This should be a mid. And that would make him have a 12-frame mid from a 16-frame mid. That's so, like, just not that good. A 16-frame mid that's -7. No, give him this right here as his mid and make this -1. So when he's finally in your face, you are scared. You are scared of this mid, and the staggers, and he can like kind of down one after it, move around in this range, get some command grabs in, and he's still close, because remember that's the first change I said. Like, let him be scary after he gets in. And this 1-2 right here, this should be plus, in my opinion. Let him be a juggernaut if he gets in. If you're going to make it to where he gets zoned out, let him be scary when he's in. It's simple as that. So, with the overhead being 19 and the low being 14, I feel like they need to bring these two around each other. That way he can actually open you up once he's in and you're actually scared. You should be scared of Geras once he gets in. You should not be like, oh, whatever. Like you are if Geras gets in, because nobody's really scared of Geras. After he gets in, he's not scary. It's always your turn. We need to make Geras scary after Geras finally gets in. So again, this should be +2, in my opinion. Man grab should be better, and overhead should be better, and the low and the overhead should be around the same speed, so you actually have to guess. And look at this, -6. Like, look at these terrible frames. Now, I think the way the low is fine. I just feel like the last pop-up hit right there, that should be safe as well. Let's fix all of his problems. Give him better frame data. His frame data should not be this atrocious. And I feel like with all of those changes, that will help him out a lot. And those are my changes that I think Geras needs to make him a decent character. Now, that's one set of changes. There is one change, major change, that could be a big deal, that can really help him out. If they improve this projectile. Now, what I mean by this, if they give him a special move that is, this is a whole new set of changes now. If they give him a special move that he could just throw out in your face, that could be used for pressure and zoning, that will help him out a lot. Like if he could do this in your face or something, and it's like very plus, and he could actually hit you all the way in. Like, look at this. This is a tornado looking type move. If this pushed you all the way in and he can do this in your face and he's plus, that would just make him better without needing all the changes. But that is unrealistic, so that's all I'm saying. That's just one change they can make. If they want to be lazy, just give them a cracked projectile that can be used on pressure and block. Kind of like, I mean, that could be used on pressure and full screen. Kind of like Johnny had in other games. But that's unrealistic, so I suggest they go with my first set of changes. And again, that's like everything I feel like Geras needs. He just needs to be scary when he's in your face. However they do it, it doesn't matter. But the fact of the matter is, you can get zoned out or whatever, not get zoned out. If it's harder for him to get in, that's fine. As long as when he gets in, you are terrified. And the problem is, everywhere on the screen, every angle, he isn't scary. On top of the fact that they -50 this character, like, you taking away 50 health from a character that people don't deem as good is crazy. Like, that's absolutely crazy. So I don't think he should have -50 health. He should have normal health and all the other changes I recommended. But let me know in the comments below what you really think Geras needs, and are you surprised that Geras beat Sub-Zero in the poll? Because I am. But yep, that's pretty much all Geras needs from there to end up making him a decent character. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And Nickopz out.